Hello guys, how's it going? My name is Dal. And the newest Classic Plus experience of Season of Discovery has seen a ton of popularity, with many players diving either back into the classic World of Warcraft or giving it a go for the very first time, as many are finally getting to the end of the leveling journey and reaching the very first rubber banded level of 25 for the Phase 1 of this season. But once you get there, what are you supposed to do next? I found myself asking that same question once I finished out my rogue for this season, and I turned to the classic community for answers to help me find some much needed direction, and I was able to find a good list of recommendations from the general community. So if you're like me and you recently hit level 25 within the Season of Discovery and are wondering as to what should you be doing next on your max level character, then this video will go over some of the most recommended things that you should be doing once you reach maximum rubber band level during the very first phase of Season of Discovery. But right before we get into this list of recommended max level activities, most of you guys watching these videos are still not subscribed. However, the more of you remind, the more of you do, so let's keep it going. Subscribe to the channel and ring the bell if you're watching these videos anyway, especially if you want to get more regular content regarding Dragonflight 10.2 or even potentially more Classic Plus Season of Discovery content. And the first item on our to-do list will be to finish out collecting all of your class's runes. Each class has a heap of new class runes to experiment with for the Season of Discovery, which offers a variety of compelling gameplay options. Some of these runes are so powerful they open up a fresh new build based around those runes entirely, which allows you to take on multiple playstyle choices of your class, which are just as diverse as the runes available to you. There's a good chance you haven't been able to finish out your entire rune collection yet during your journey to level 25, which leaves you with so many unexplored secrets and quests for you to finish in order to unlock some of these runes, as well as some of the more challenging scenarios that become available as our classes get towards level 20 and above. Now that you reach max level, time to start gearing out your character with some of the pre-best in slot as well as best in slot items. In Season of Discovery, our characters are rubber banded to the level 25 bracket, which allows us to experience a whole new unique form of endgame gear and progression. Majority of our leveling dungeons, like Dead Mines, Shadowfang Keep, and Wailing Caverns, retain their relevancy for the endgame level 25 content. And these same dungeons will offer some of the best pre-raid items available for the Phase 1 of the season. However, if you want to get even better gear than what most dungeons can offer, then you will want to set your sights on the newest content added for this season, the reimagined version of the Blackfathom Deep's dungeon that's actually been converted into a full-blown raid, which features a lot of the familiar dungeon bosses that will now have a handful of new raid mechanics. The Blackfathom Deeps is our very first level up raid during the Season of Discovery. This is a 10-player instance filled with 7 bosses, and like the instance of Zul'Gurub, this raid is also on a 3-day lockout. However, if you're not interested in dungeons or raids, but rather PvP content within Season of Discovery, then most players will recommend for you to check out the newest World PvP event hosted within the zone of Ashen Vale. Battle for Ashen Vale World PvP event will be capped at level 25. Similar to the battlegrounds such as the Alterac Valley, both the Alliance and the Horde will have a faction leader, and you will be tasked with defending your own faction while slaying the leaders of the opposing side. When the battle begins, each faction will control a handful of encampments, and each one of your leaders will be empowered by 3 lieutenants. While these lieutenants are alive and well, your leader gains a powerful damage and a defensive buff that makes him much harder to take down. However, by destroying enemy encampments and slaying their lieutenants weakens the enemy's faction leader, which is exactly how most groups are going to have to approach it if they want to win the battle for Ashen Vale. Participating in the open world event, taking down objectives and lieutenants, and even slaying the final boss of the enemy's faction earns you a bunch of reputation with your faction's PvP vendors. Upgrading your standing with the PvP faction allows you to earn a variety of rewards, such as a unique rideable mount just for the zone of the Ashen Vale, as well as gear which can be used in raids and dungeons as well as in PvP, with some of these items being some of the best in slot items available during the Phase 1 of Season of Discovery. And slaying the final boss of the Ashen Vale open world event allows you to gain a world buff which increases your damage and healing by 5% for 2 hours, which can make all of your dungeon and raid escapades that much easier in the process. Another common recommendation that I've seen listed by everybody in the community is for you to start working on the newest factions added within Season of Discovery. As part of the newest season, 2 new factions are being added for both the Alliance and the Horde, with the Durotar Supply and Logistics for the Horde faction and the Azeroth Commerce Authority for the Alliance. Both of these factions will offer brand new rewards as you earn reputation with these factions. Obtaining a friendly standing allows you to expand your bag slots and even purchase some gear, but achieving the rank of Honored will allow your classes to unlock additional unique class runes. This new supply faction will have some of the best runes available for most of our classes, and will feature items like the Rogue's Tanking Rune, or even the Druid's Interrupt Rune with the ability of Skull Bash, or the Shaman's group-wide healing of the Healing Rain Rune, and many more others. And there's a good chance that as we get into the further phases within Season of Discovery, that this faction in particular will continue to offer additional rewards, which might make keeping up with this faction a lot more lucrative. And currently, the best way to farm the reputation with the supplies factions is by collecting, filling, and turning in supply shipments. Most of the waylaid supply crates come from humanoid mobs, which can be found in majority of the early zones within Azeroth. Another way to get waylaid supplies is by opening treasure chests found everywhere within the open world, with the treasures having a much higher chance of having waylaid supplies than most humanoid mobs would. There is some nuance when it comes to farming reputation with this faction, but right now I just want to give you this simplified version. At first, we will focus on reaching friendly standing with this newest faction. To reach friendly standing, all you have to do is find a place to farm entry-level zones and areas where there's a lot of humanoid mobs that spawn at a regular rate. It's even better if those humanoid mobs are surrounded by treasure chests, which can definitely help speed up your faction grind. And until we reach friendly, we'll be farming humanoid enemies with treasures in either the Domoro, Elven Forest, or Chaldrasil for the Alliance, or Cherylsfall Glades, Durotar, and Mulgore for the Horde. However, once we reach a friendly standing, we'll then move on to areas adjacent to our starting zones, places like Loch Modan or even Westfall for the Alliance, or Silverpine Forest, or the Barrens for the Horde. And when you do find one of these waylaid crates, you'll want to travel back to one of your faction's major capital cities. Each of these crates is going to be filled with different resources, some of which might either be gathering materials, such as mining ores or herbs, while other crates will be filled with crafted items such as prepared food, engineering components, items crafted by blacksmiths, and so forth. Technically, once you get yourself a crate, you can just turn it in as is in order to gain a little bit of reputation, which is the easy method, but it's not the most efficient method. If you want to be efficient when it comes to farming reputation for this faction, you'll want to first fill these crates before turning them in. Each crate is going to tell you which item it needs in order to be fully filled up, and you'll be able to purchase most of these necessary reagents from your local auction house. Doing so is going to eventually set you back financially, as some of the items required to fill these crates are not cheap by any measure. However, being able to turn in a fully filled up crate does award you with a ton more additional reputation, especially when you're trying to do the grind from the friendly to the honored standing. Another recommendation given by the community is to begin working on your professions once you reach level 25. This is especially useful if you decide to invest into a profession that will let you create your own best in slot crafted gear and items, some of which are actually very competitive, even when comparing them against some of the dungeons and even the newest raid of BFD. Being able to invest into your professions early also does give you an opportunity to make some gold, whether you're trying to get rich quick during phase 1 or are trying to prepare your main as well as all of your alts with a bit of gold for the future phases. And finally, the number one recommendation given by just about everybody within the classic community is to start playing some of your alts and start working on old characters. Currently, reaching level 25 level cap is fairly easy, which gives you a lot more time to be able to invest into other resources, such as getting some new characters up and running. Part of the joy within Season of Discovery is to be able to re-experience all of our familiar classes, though with a new interesting angle thanks to the new runic system added with this season. with many of these runes drastically changing the playstyles available to so many of our classes, such as the tanking role given to classes such as shamans, warlocks, as well as rogues, or even a healing role which is assigned to the class of mage instead. Not only do these classes have unique new playstyles, but also have a unique set of runes for you to discover. And the initial process of discovering these runes and unlocking them all on your own is part of the joy of this newest season. As per usual, if you guys enjoyed this video or found it informative, go ahead and give it a thumbs up. I would very much appreciate it. And as always, in the description of every single video and live stream, we have a link to our Discord community channel. Probably the best place to reach out to me directly in case you want to let me know what you thought about this video or hang out with the rest of the community to discuss some of the upcoming changes. Join our Discord to become part of the community. But otherwise, thank you all so much for watching this video. I do hope you guys enjoyed. Let me know all of your thoughts down below. And as always, I'll see all of you guys in another video.